Well, hello, my name is Christopher Scott and I'm a small groups pastor of a local church. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to subgroup your small group, right? How do you subgroup your small group? You might be saying, wait, what's the deal? We go to church on the weekend, there's a big group of people, and then we group into a small group, right? Well, sometimes small groups get to the point where they slowly grow larger and larger in the number of people, and it's a time maybe you might need to subgroup your small group. So I want to talk to you about that. So what is subgrouping? Subgrouping is when your small group gets maybe 9 or more people at a meeting together. Not 9 or more people in your group total, but there's actually 9 people in the room together. So maybe there's 9 or more people in your small group. You start the small group together, all 9 of you together, you do a few things, and then you might want to subgroup into smaller groups for 10 or 15 minutes to encourage discussion, and then you want to bring everybody back together at the end of the group, all 9 of you together, right? So that's what subgrouping is. And we do subgrouping because one of the main goals of small groups is that we want everybody to be actively involved in the discussion. We want people to be talking about what they're learning, talking about how they're applying what they're learning, talking about their struggles in life, and just a safe place to share those things. And once you get 9 or more people, sometimes it's difficult to make sure everybody gets a chance to share and talk, and that's why we do subgrouping. So why do we do subgrouping? A couple more reasons. Number one, we want to be sure that everyone gets to talk and talk about their faith, like I shared earlier. Additionally, subgrouping develops potential leaders in your small group, right? So if you're a small group facilitator, you have a group of 5 people, it's pretty easy to handle the prayer requests, the snacks, coordinate things like that. But as your group grows larger and larger to 8 or 9 or 12 or 15, you got to have some people that can help you carry the load, and so that you can delegate some of that work so it doesn't all fall on you. So subgrouping helps to develop potential leaders because you break people out into groups, and now all of a sudden you have 3 different people helping to facilitate a discussion and preparing for those questions and organizing the discussion around those topics, right? You don't have to do all that because you know in advance you're going to have 3 different people. They're going to take those, half of your questions for the group, okay? So it develops potential leaders. It allows your group to grow larger yet still be open to new people that attend your church or new people that become Christians, okay? So one of the great things about subgrouping is that once your group gets to 9 or 10, you can continue to be an open group where people can come. Maybe they attend church a couple times, they want to get plugged in. Maybe they just became a Christian and they need a group, right? So if you subgroup, your group can continue to grow in the number of people while still having discussions, right? So it helps to make sure your group is still open. You can continue to accept new people into your group if you do subgrouping, okay? So how do you subgroup, right? How do you subgroup? What are the steps? So like I said, when you subgroup, you want to start together, right? So at our church, I encourage our groups to do the unifying question is what they do to start the group. So start with the unifying question together. Then you're going to want to do some of your study together. And then you're going to want to subgroup for some of the discussion. It doesn't have to be all the questions, maybe just 2 or 3 of the questions, subgroup, and then come back together at the end, right? You might want to share prayer requests at the end. You might want to do one question together at the end. You might want to do snacks together at the end and make that part of your time. Not sure what that is, but you want to start together, subgroup, and then end together is what you want to do. Another thing you want to do in how do you subgroup is you want to assign people into groups, right? So don't just you say, all right, there's 15 of you here, go find a group. And then, the new people are all lost and scared. No, you as a facilitator need to be assertive. Say, all right, I want you 3 people to be a group. I want you 5 people to be a group. I want you to be a group. Or maybe you say, hey, let's do it different. We're going to have all the women in a group and all the men in a group, right? So women are going to go to the kitchen, men are going to stay here in the living room, and we're going to talk about this. That might be another thing that you need to do, right? But you need to be assertive and assign people into groups. And if you notice people in your group are starting to kind of have cliques a little bit, they're starting to kind of, you notice the same people always sit together and the same people always sit together, but they never really talk. Mix them up a little bit, right? Put the people together that don't talk as much. Maybe there's been a couple people in your group that are maybe you've had a little conflict or disagree on some things. Intentionally pick them and put them in a group together so that they can continue to talk and share and discuss, because they're going to learn from each other on the things that they disagree on, right? So that's one of the beauties about a small group. Another thing you want to do is you want to coach the person that asks the questions, right? So let's say you normally have 9 people that come to your group. You're going to have 3 subgroups. So maybe you want to pick 2 or 3 regular people and say, hey, I was wondering if you could facilitate the discussion each week, and you want to coach them a little bit, right? Tell them a few basic things about facilitating. Number 1, just read the questions. Number 2, don't change the questions. Number 3, don't add to the questions. Just ask the questions, keep the conversation going, keep track of time, and keep it going, right? So that might be something you want to do, is coach the people in your subgroups a little bit. So how do you subgroup, okay? How do you subgroup? Let's say you're using the Warren Wiersbe Bible Study Guide. I got one here. So let's say you're using the Warren Wiersbe Bible Study Guide on Galatians, okay? Exchanging legalism for true spirituality. Lesson 3 is titled Freedom Fighter, okay? So you're going to want to start your group. You're going to do some of your group together, right? So start by doing the getting started questions together, and then do some of the going deeper questions together. Those are 2 sections, the first 2 sections in the Wiersbe Bible Study Guide. The getting started and the going deeper. Do those 2 sections together as a group. But then when you come to the application questions, which are looking inward and going forward, those are the 3 application questions, break your group up into subgroups for the 3 application questions, right? So looking inward has 2 questions, and then the going forward section has 1 question, right? So I encourage you, break up your groups into subgroups for those 3 questions. That way everybody can talk about how they're applying the things to their life and how they're growing. And it might be cool to keep the subgroups the same each week if possible, right? Because then everybody can share, and then the next week they can follow up on what they did last week. And the week after that, they can follow up again, and they can help hold each other accountable for the things that they're applying to their lives, right? So, and then after that, you want to bring the whole group back together. So you start together, you subgroup, and then you're going to bring them all back together and maybe just ask 2 or 3 people, hey, we want to hear from maybe 2 people. What's one thing you're going to do based on what you learned this week and what we talked about? And then you end the group together. Maybe you end the group together with prayer as well, or snacks, right? So that's how you would subgroup using the Wiersbe Bible Study Guide. Let's say you're going to use the Chip Ingram Living on the Edge materials. I'm just grabbing this stuff. It's not really planned. You're going to use the Chip Ingram Living on the Edge materials, which are DVD-based. They're topical, really solid application-based studies. And I think I have a link down there for you in the notes on how you can get these as well as the Wiersbe Bible Study Guides. So let's say you're going to do session 7 from Balancing Life's Demands. Balancing Life's Demands, session number 7, is titled Warning, Personal Discipline Can Be Hazardous to Your Health. So you start the group together by doing the unifying question. You start the group together by watching the DVD. Then you're going to, maybe do the first, 4 questions as a group, right? Talk about the first 4 questions as a group, and then do questions 5, 6, and 7 in subgroups, right? You can do that in subgroups and have them talk about that more. Or you can do the unifying question together, watch the DVD together, and then you can break up the group into subgroups for all 7 questions if you want. That's an option that you can do and kind of talk about that. So, there's different ways you can go about it. But that's the kind of the beauty of small groups, is there's so many different ways you can make the group work for your group, right? And subgrouping is a way to go about doing that. So I would love to hear from you. Maybe how have you done subgroups in your small group? Maybe you can leave a comment down below. How has it worked? What are the benefits? What are some of the struggles you might have had? I'd love to hear from you. So my name's Christopher Scott. Hope you found this video to be helpful. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and get updates on future videos, you can subscribe up there. If you want to find other small group ministry facilitator tips, I've got those videos down there. If you want to learn how to do the Warren Wiersbe Bible Study Guides, I got some of those videos down there. And then additionally, if you want to use the Living on the Edge materials, I got some videos down there on how to use those. One last thing I forgot to mention is that I borrowed some of this material from the book Leading Small Groups with Purpose by Steve Gladen, pages 159 to 161. He has some really good material on small groups and subgrouping, right? So I'll show you a little picture there, subgrouping. So I'll try to remember to put a link to this book down in the description. It'll be an affiliate link, so I do get a commission if you watch the video. Click on the link and then buy the book. I do get a small commission, so just to let you know. So hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope to catch you again on another video very soon.